You can do anything you want to do. What it really boils down to is your particular drive. Do you really want it, or do you just dream of it?
Welcome to the David Adam Kurz Show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the David Adam Kurz Show. Listen, guys, if you are not following me on social media, just look up David Adam Kurz. You'll find me there. Our podcast is the Freedom Achiever podcast. Check that out. Check this out on YouTube. Just look me up, David Adam Kurz. You won't be able to miss me. And give me a little subscribe, man. Check me out. I'm going to be bringing you consistent videos all the time. I am the owner and founder of the Freedom Organization, a coaching and consulting company. So what we do, today I want to start by reading something from my new book that is set to come out November 1st, titled Freedom. I'm sorry, it's titled Failure. And then underneath that, it says The Truth About Failure. And so I wanted to read something from chapter 5. It's called Airport Blues. And I want to say this because I'm going to correlate it to something that happened to me today and how I associate it to this particular chapter. And it says, I want to dedicate this chapter to everyone who is not afraid of dreaming big dreams, putting them down on paper, and having the fortitude to take action. This is to those who won't let anyone stand in their way of what they want from life. It continues, though. It says, to you, the courageous dreamer who has sat at the airport. This part will make more sense when you read this book in this chapter, and figured out how much it costs to fly private, the nearest pilot training school to you, the time it would take for you to get your pilot's license. And you figured out how much it costs to rent or charter a plane to get anywhere you want to go. Amid all the stuff that has happened to you, instead of complaining about it, you have spent time thinking about the solution to the problem. Instead, you have found the solution so that you never have to deal with this problem again. If you protect the time you've been given, your dreams will become reality. Now, here's a crazy thing. This piece right here goes into a really in-depth chapter that I call the Airport Blues, where I sat at an airport for a significant amount of time and I just evaluated people. And long story short, I'm on this flight. Flight doesn't take off. It's stuck. Something's wrong with the engine. We can't fly out. We get booted off the plane. We're back in the waiting area, and people just freaking going nuts, right? And so we bring this to the table because, as I'm sitting back evaluating people, I'm going, everybody has a pretty much a different role, right? If not, we would be humanity. But who are you in this situation, right? So many people, they react to things very differently. And I always like to say, failure is a lie. Failure is a myth. The things that happen to you happen to you. Life happens, shit happens. We know it's going to happen, okay? How you react to it is everything. And so in this particular case, we talked about people's ability to react to bad situations or messed up situations, not necessarily bad, just messed up. I remember sitting there with my wife and we were talking about it. And she's like, you're not even that pissed off that we're going to miss these meetings in Vegas. We're flying out to Vegas from Miami. And I said to her, I go, baby, the engine's bad. I would much rather the engine go bad before we take off than where we're mid-flight on our way to Vegas, right? And we got to do some emergency landing. I'd rather not have to go through that experience. And so I react to things differently. I haven't always been this way, by the way. It takes work. It takes effort. It takes control. But we had, I actually labeled out the different type of people. And so this one's the victim, right? And the victim, I got it from this girl. She had to be, I can tell you, she was 24 years old. She was young. She was on her cell phone. She was crying like you wouldn't even know. And all she screamed was, in my whole 24 years of life, I've never had to deal with this nonsense. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm laughing. And it's unfortunate, but I had to laugh. And I'm laughing and I go, oh my God, baby girl, like, strap on your seatbelt because shit's about to get real. And then we had the complainer. The complainer was this person that kept going back to the counter to harass the employees about their situation, right? As if the person at the counter even has a clue what to do with the engine of this airplane, or has a plane in her back pocket that she could bring in as a backup, right? And it was just they just wanted to go there and point out that they were not happy, and they wanted to win a point every time they showed up at the counter. And the employees at this point, they're getting nervous, right? Because there's a lot of complainers. Then you've got the demander, right? The demander was the person that said, I demand to speak to the manager. I know what needs to be done. Like, this is the person with all the answers, right? And the one that says, why don't you just get us another plane, as if, the airline just has like 6 planes on standby just in case one of them's running late, right? And so, and immediately my thought is, dude, like, don't you think if they had another plane that was completely disposable and ready to go, that they would just swap them out real quick and get us on there, but it's not that easy. And I would assume that there's a lot of checks and balances and things that happen before we take off in this multiple ton thing in the air that glides through the air some way, somehow, and pushes through and takes us from one place to another that we take so very advantage of. Then we had the spectators, right? These were the people that didn't have the audacity to go to the counter, but they had the fortitude to yell something from their seats, right? So the victim would go up, the demander would go up, the complainer would go up, and the spectator would go, yeah, that's right. You tell them, right? And so just thinking about that, I was like, come on, dude. Like, you don't even have the balls to go up to the countertop. What are you complaining about back in your seats? Then I called it the chill. These are the people that just accepted the reality of their situation. And some of those folks made effort with their time, and other folks did different things with their time. I'll tell you what we did, because I don't know what everybody else was doing, but I think we watched a movie. I caught up with a bunch of work. I had to change all our appointments. We had dinner plans with different professionals in Vegas. We had to change those plans, and we had to make a lot of changes in order for us to accommodate the situation that we were in. And it was 8 hours. And rather than leave it unproductive, we kept it massively productive. We kept it massively focused. We did what needed to be done while we were there. And then during that time, I leaned over and I looked at my wife and I was like, I don't ever want to be in this situation again. And her response to me was, well, what do you want to do? You want to drive? Like, what are your thought processes? And I said, no, baby, we got to get to the point where we get a private jet. And see, I don't think small, guys. And many folks can't relate to me because of the way that I think and the way that my mind works. And I don't think small in any way whatsoever. And so I went from flying this aircraft at this airline, I'm not going to mention their names, flying this airline, this notorious for being late places. I don't know why we booked on this flight. I can't remember what the situation was, but either way, we're on this airline. It's notorious for being late on everything. And we ended up getting it. And then it was late. And then I said to her, I said, we just got to go private. I didn't think about anything else in between. And she said, dude, like, that's, okay, like, you need to explain that. And I said, well, if we do what needs to be done, work how we know, how we're supposed to work, make the most of our time, make the money we're supposed to make, then we can buy a private jet. If we buy a private jet, we buy time. By the way, we can charter this thing and make some money back, probably pay for itself, just like somebody does with their Rolls Royce on Turo, right? And so, because I'm not going to be in the air all the time, so might as well just let it make me some money at the same time. Be smart about this investment, but the investment is not in the plane. The investment is not in the charter opportunity. The investment's in your time. See, those 8 hours that I lost that I can never get back. And although I did my very best to make them productive, I would have been significantly more productive if I would have gotten to our location on time, had our meetings, and did what we had to do. And I would have been scrambling, trying to change everybody's plans because I couldn't make it on time. So for me, it was a thought process of, if we can buy a private jet, then we can be where we need to be on time, every time, all the time. And that being said, we started talking about all kinds of different things. Like, all right, well, what if I just go to pilot school and we get a small 6-seat jumper, right? Or a 4-seat jumper? Or what if, but then I'm like, I don't really want to spend a ton of time in pilot school, right? So then I'm like, what do I really want out of a plane? Why am I settling? Like, immediately I go from getting my pilot's license, 4-seater or 6-seater, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm settling when I could get a 8-seater, 10-seater with a bathroom. And I'm like, no, I would much rather have a plane that has a bathroom. Like, honestly, I don't give a shit how many seats it has. I want a bathroom. You know, Grant Cardone's notorious for talking about his plane and saying how he bought back time, how he is able to get to where he wants to be and still be home in time for dinner. And I always thought that's incredible because he didn't say, look at me, I have a great jet. He said, look at me, I have more time. And it's all about how we spend our time and how much we value it, right? And the reason that this really came to mind was this morning, I'm at the gym and again, studying different types of people. And as I'm studying the different types of people, I'm watching, there are the people who go to the gym to hang out. There are the people that go to the gym to get cliquey and talk. There are the people that go to the gym that are working out, but not really working out. There are the people who go to the gym to work out and stay healthy. There's the muscle heads. There's all kinds of different people, right? Then there's the people who like pick up weights, lift them, do their thing, put them down on the floor, and then walk away. They don't put them back where they belong. That shit irks the hell out of me, right? If you were strong enough to take it off the rack and bring it to the bench, you're strong enough to pick it up and put it back on the rack, right? And so, I think one of the most frustrating things anybody can tell you about the gym is trying to find the right weights, right? And then there's the people who are super like, they work out. This is like me. I work out. I pick up some weights. I do what I got to do. I get my stuff, and then I put my stuff back. My wife goes the extra. She wipes it down clean. She does all. So the point is that there are so many different types of people that you need to decide who you want to be. And crazy enough, I'm having this conversation with somebody, and they said, success is, and this is a conversation I was having, NAREP event was last week. They had a really nice event here in Miami Beach at the Fountain Blue. And I ran into a lot of people I knew, and we just started getting into it. Because when you put great minds together, you start talking about real shit. And as we're sitting down talking, we start talking about how everyone has the same opportunity to become successful in their own right, whatever it means to them. But why doesn't everybody become successful? Why doesn't everybody do what's necessary? And I remember a very long time ago, somebody told me not everybody's designed or meant to be successful. Because if everybody was designed or meant to be super successful, who would serve you a cheeseburger at McDonald's when you whip through the drive-through real quick to grab something to eat? And that hit me hard because I was like, you're right. If everyone's successful, no one would be serving cheeseburgers, right? And that was, and of course, for those of you out there going, oh my God, no, David, I worked at McDonald's, but now I'm successful. That's not what I'm talking about, right? Okay, chill. What we're saying is that people are designed to be in all kinds of different positions. They can change your environment. You can change your environment. You can change your space. You can change what you're designed to be and become. You can do anything you want to do. What it really boils down to is your particular drive. Do you really want it, or do you just dream of it? Are you the kid with the Lamborghini on the wall, or are you the kid working your ass off to make sure you put a Lamborghini in the driveway? So I'm going to leave you guys off with that, man. I wanted you to really sit back and think about the type of person that you are. The next time that you're at the airport and you are super late and everything's delayed, please don't be the jerk that runs up to complain about everything that people can't handle. Just do what you need to do to fill the time with MMAs, money-making activities, and rock out your life and business. All right, guys, peace to you guys. Be safe out there. Enjoy. Make sure you give us a subscribe. Make sure you're checking us out on our podcast, on YouTube, and everywhere else. Check out the freedomachieveracademy.com if you're a real estate professional and you want some amazing coaching, and it's completely online and at your pace. freedomachieveracademy.com, freedomachieveracademy.com. My name's David Adam Kurz, and I'm out, guys. See you soon.